Hello y'all, it is Her Flower Life here, and I let ChatGPT build my best year yet. Let's dive into it. So I was scrolling through TikTok and I came across these collection of videos from Kate Weids. I'm going to show you guys one of the videos here. I'm also going to link her Instagram down below, and it looks like since TikTok wasn't banned, is banned, up in the air, I'm just going to link it all in the description box below so that you guys can see how you can use her prompts to build out your best year yet.
It's that time of the year where we plan out 2025 and you want 2025 to be your best year yet. I am going to show you how to get there in 4 steps using ChatGPT. So step 1, you are going to type into ChatGPT this prompt. I want to create my goal and vision for 2025. Please guide me through this process by asking me 10 questions, one by one. And when I'm done answering the 10th question, please write down my dream life story for 2025, what my 2025 affirmation will be, and then my top 5 goals broken by relationship, business, family, money, body, and life. But you are going to get really clear in what you want for 2025, because we can't go off and create vision boards or bingo cards and all the fun stuff without being really certain that it is what you want.
So basically I used ChatGPT to follow her prompts, and I built out my dream year yet, my best year yet. If you see me looking down or like here or over there, it's because I'm looking at my phone. I want to preface this by saying I have not started anything yet. It is January 18th and I have not started anything yet, and here's why. One, I wanted to record this video first before I came out and did anything. But also, as an educator, I have 2 weeks off for winter break, which covers Christmas and New Year's, and it's just it's a lot to just do to come back to work after being off for 2 weeks, getting back into the groove of that the first week, while also trying to navigate a New Year's resolution. The thing is that most people within the first 2 weeks of the new year completely do not do their goals, or they completely abandon them. And I think a huge part of it is simply because we put too much pressure on ourselves, and that's something that I kind of want to work on. It's not putting so much pressure on myself to get things done in a certain time frame. So here are my goals. Let's dive into it. So of course I followed Kate's prompts, and it gave me my dream life story for 2025. I'm not going to read the entire thing to you all. What I am going to read to you is some of the things that I think stood out to me in the dream story. So it says you confidently drive yourself to work and enjoy the freedom that owning a car provides. Your travel time is reduced. You feel safer, and you're able to enjoy spontaneous outings or trips without relying on public transportation. You've traveled to your dream destinations: California, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, Texas, Vermont, Boston, each trip filled with unforgettable experiences and personal growth. Your success isn't just measured in external accomplishments, but in your ability to prioritize your health, relationships, and time. Throughout all of this, your mindset has shifted. You've cultivated a deep sense of confidence, affirming daily that you can and will achieve your goals. You are no longer held back by self-doubt or fear. You trust in yourself and your ability to move forward step by step with clarity and determination. So you guys got a gist of at least 3 of my goals so far in here in the dream story. Those paragraphs stood out to me because I've grown a lot as a person in the last 2 years. I would say grown in, because I think I've always been this person. It just took a while to grow into this person that I am now. And I've done a lot, but there is still work to do. And some of the things in that last paragraph are things I still struggle with, as much as I've grown out of some of those things as much as possible. There's still a long ways to go. So I thought that was a pretty good paragraph. I have a daily affirmation. I am not sure how daily affirmations work. I know that some people say them in the mirror a certain time of the day. I'm not a big affirmations girly because, once again, as you guys heard from that last paragraph, I do not have good. I am working on my confidence, my self-doubt, and my self-fears. So it's difficult, I guess you could say, to understand or grasp affirmations for me personally. I think for me, I could be doing this wrong, and someone might comment and say, "Yo, that's how you do affirmations," and I will definitely heed what you're saying, take in what you're saying. But for me, I think when it comes to like affirmations, I'm definitely just going to set a time every single day that I will say this affirmation, starting from the moment this video is uploaded. I have started. Just letting you guys know, by the time you're seeing this video, I have started. I'm going to write it down on a separate piece of paper and maybe like put it by like my mirror or something, and maybe say it in the mirror to myself. I think that might be the most beneficial. Now we can jump into my actual goals because they're interesting. I want to put a little disclaimer here. I have 5 top goals. So these are my top 5 goals for 2025. Beneath those goals, I have little miniature goals that I also want to accomplish, okay? So those little goals stem from those big goals, or they're just like random, spontaneous. And I'm gonna dive into some of them throughout this video. I won't be able to hit on every single one because they're like so many. They're like little lifestyle changes. The first goal is learning how to drive, and it says overcoming my driving relating trauma by acknowledging fears, seeking professional driving lessons, and practicing regularly. I say this every year. It's to the point where I think my family and my friends have their own self-doubts about me accomplishing this one. And I'm not going to kid you. I do say this every year. I'm not going to lie. I say this every single year. Who hasn't? Now, the reasons that you may have might be same to mine or different. I can't really explain it, but there are some like deeper personal reasons why I have it. And then there's one where back in 2018, 2019, I can't remember which summer it was, but that summer I went to driving lessons. I'm assuming it was summer of 2019 because that's the summer that I did a lot of things pertaining to my life and progressing it. And only a couple of those things went all the way to the end. And this is the one thing that kind of fell through the cracks. I went through, I think, 3 or 4 lessons. No hate to the place or the instructor, but I just felt like I wasn't ready. And the way I see it, my theory is that the faster you get someone through the cycle, then you can start training the next person and making that money from that person. Makes sense? Because like once you've paid, it's a one-time fee of, let's say it's $500 for 10 lessons, right? You're not getting a continuous money from every lesson. So you want to get that person done so you can like start taking on more clients, if that makes sense. Now, I know this is not unique to me because my brother actually expressed that he felt the same way at his own driving lessons with his own different people, different company and everything, 2 different companies, same experience. So that's also, I think, why that fell through the cracks, is because I just felt like I was unsupported and I felt like I was doing it, but I think I was doing the motions of just getting the lesson done and not actually doing the lessons to learn how to drive. And what makes this year different when it comes to driving is that I think, one, I'm actually ready. I think the problem is that when I force myself to do things when I'm not ready, it can go one of 2 ways. One, I'm forcing myself even though I'm not ready, but in reality, the truth is I am ready. I just needed that push to get it done. Or I'm not ready for real, and I just don't do it and I abandon it completely. And I think that's what happened with both certification exams and driving school back in 2019. I don't think that I was actually ready, and I wasn't ready for those 2 things, but I also wasn't ready for the push that I needed. Whereas in 2024, that push is that I was ready, and all I needed now was a push to be like, yeah, get it done, girl. You're gonna do fine. And I did well. Goal number 2 is finishing grad school. Listen, I am just like, listen, this is like a non-negotiable. I'm in my last semester of grad school. Fun fact, this is my last semester. My expected graduation date, I think, is May 27th, or is it June? I can't really remember. I want to give you all a very brief look into what grad school was like for me. So I'm going to go by semester. So that fall, so technically when I started a little bit late than what I was supposed to. So because of that, there are summer intro courses that you take in August. Like I think it's like July, August, you take them in order to prepare you for the fall. So what ended up happening was I ended up having to take all of those in the fall, and it made me end up missing one of my courses that I was supposed to take. The school made this mistake. It wasn't me. The school made this mistake, and they realized their mistake, and they ended up giving me 2 courses that typically you don't take them together. You take them in 2 separate semesters. I took both of them in the same semester. Now that semester, those first 2 semesters were fine. Yeah, a lot of work was due. I did have my moments where I was like, but I made it through. Then it was summer. In my summer courses, I had to take a class the same week that I went to Trinidad and Tobago. There was no way of getting out of that course. There was also going to be one class that was also going to be the first class of the semester for that class. And I was going to start when I was in Tobago. So I had a class in Trinidad and I had a class in Tobago. Now, I've traveled before and had been in class that year, so it wasn't a big deal per se, but it was just crazy to me. And I was that day that I had a class was actually the same day that I landed in Trinidad, and so you can imagine I was a bit tired. Our flight left. We left our house basically like 8 p.m. Our flight was at 12. Like 8, 9 o'clock we left our house. Our flight was at 12. We landed at like 6 a.m. I had class literally at 10. There was a Wi-Fi outage. It was so much. That summer, I also did feel very disconnected from grad school. I felt like that semester, I was like just getting things done to get them done to graduate. Like I needed to just like, I kept thinking to myself, once I'm done with this summer courses, we have 2 semesters left of grad school. 2 semesters. 1 school year left of grad school. So I felt like that was not a really good place to be in, because as a student who loves to learn, who loves to read, I don't like to look at school like that. It makes me feel like, what's the point of school? And I start feeling too self-aware about school. And so there were moments where I cried and I felt so overwhelmed trying to finish up the last 2 courses. And summer classes ended a week before work started back. Yeah, a whole week to myself before I had to jump right into the fall semester. Craziness, right? Now that fall semester, I made it work. I'm not gonna lie to you. There were times where I felt a little bit like overwhelmed again, but I only had 3 classes. Because I took 4 courses over the summer, it meant that I was 1 class less in the fall, but also 1 out of my 3 classes was completely online. We never met. The other 2 classes we met on Zoom. All my classes are online, but they meet on Zoom for class for about 2 hours and a half, 2.5 hours, mind you. 2.5 hours online, sit on Zoom. Somebody chit chat for 2 hours. But one of them was completely like online, no Zoom, no virtual class at all. So I really truly only felt like I only had 2 classes. So it was amazing. Now for this spring semester, I only have 3 classes, and once again, one of them does not meet at all. And the great thing about the one that doesn't meet at all is that you can kind of like, I mean, you can do this with all of them, but the one that does not meet at all, you can just like upload the stuff and get it done, because like you don't need to be in class with questions. My third goal is basically create a budget. I'm not gonna dive too deep into this one. 4th goal is getting a car. So number 1 is learning how to drive, and then number 4 is getting a car. People be like, don't buy a car, don't buy a car, I am a firm believer in that there is no right choice. When it comes to certain circumstances, I want to be very clear. When it comes to certain circumstances, there are no good or bad decisions. You can only make the decision that's going to work best for your life and your lifestyle, right? So some circumstances like this would be, do I homeschool or send my kid to school? There is no right or wrong decision in this situation. It's just more so of making the best choice for you. Leasing a car, buying a car public transportation. Once again, there are pros and cons with both of those things. And once again, there is no right or wrong decision. It's more so of what decision makes sense for you financially, the headaches of owning a car, leasing a car, all the things. Which one has more pros, less cons, and still works best for you? I'm gonna just leave it at that. When I say buy a car, I don't necessarily mean like go out, buy a car, fully paid off the lot. That is not what I mean. When I say buy a car, I'm using the word buy very loosely here, because it could be that I'm just like renting a car or leasing a car until I figure out, because I don't anticipate. I listen, y'all. I want to be realistic. Yes, it's one of my top 5 goals, but I don't think, I'm not trying, and this is not self-doubt like creeping in. It's just me trying to be more realistic. It'd be a lot different if I already knew how to drive and have been driving for the last 2 years or something like that. And now I'm like, okay, I want to buy me a car. No. So when I say buy, I use that very loosely. I just mean that I want to have a car, whether I'm renting or leasing a car, that I can just like get more at bats with. Now that might not be the most cost effective thing because I'm a new driver, God forbid something happens. But once again, we're not trying to live with that mentality, because I know that I'm going to be a good driver on the road. It's the other people on the road that's going to make it very hard for me and others to be good drivers on the road. If that makes sense to y'all. If y'all drive, then y'all know what I mean. Goal number 5 is travel. Now, I want to put out here that while you're watching this video in January, I actually did the prompts and everything late December. So obviously I'd picked these places before I had time to really think about things and do my research, all that good stuff. Also, this is before the wildfires happened in the Palisades and other areas of California. This was also before I really had an idea of like what other options there are to me. I've never been to Boston. I think my sister has been to Boston, and I know for a fact my brother-in-law has also been in Boston. But I'm just saying, I think that's where I got Boston from. Vermont, I may have gotten from like my sister, but I also know that in Vermont they have the Ben and Jerry's like factory. That's where like the cheese festival is. I think Vermont is where the cheese festival is, and also the fall foliage. I think those are like the top 3 reasons that I want to go. I want to go to Vermont, and I also want to go someplace that also has snow, which sounds weird, but New Yorkers, New York City doesn't get snow like a Utah does, like a Colorado, like going to Aspen. Like we don't get snow like that. I want to experience that nice, soft, fluffy snow, like where the snowboarding and the skiing. I want to do that someday, just not this year, but definitely in the years to come. So I think I want to just see Vermont without any snow and just go to Vermont, like just to go to Vermont. So that's why it's on here. I want to go to that part of the United States in general, because like I think the geography is really cool to me. Like I said, good student here. That's where I want to go. I've also done some more research like into Boston, and I realized that it has a lot of history. One thing I love about going to visit Philly, like the downtown area of Philly, like where all the historical stuff is that I loved learning and seeing all the historical stuff. I used to love American history when I was in high school / middle school. I also do love global history as well. I was in AP history classes in high school, fun fact. So that's why I also think I picked those places as well, because I want to go somewhere where one, it's walkable. If it's not walkable, that's fine, but I want to go somewhere that is walkable and has like things I can go see and do, basically. Like I don't have to go too far, basically. And you'll notice that these are all local. Somebody actually pointed out to me, like, these are all local. Yeah, because here's the thing. Here is the thing, okay? International trips cost money, and I'm not going somewhere for 2-3 days. If I'm leaving the country, I need to be there for at least a week and a half. I want to go for at least a week and a half because getting there is long. Listen, when I was looking at California, I have to take 2 planes. From New York City, it's very hard to find a direct flight. So that's like 2 planes. That's a layover. That's flying to one city and then from that city flying to LA. Listen here. You cannot go on no 3-day trip there because most of your trip is traveling there. Most hotels don't allow you to check in until like 3-4 p.m. Anywhere I go internationally, it needs to be at least 2 weeks max, especially if it's Japan, because that's all the way across the world. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, I'm not going for no 3 days. Between the jet lag, the time difference, the travel times, 2 of those days is full travel days because you got to get from point A to point B. And some other miniature goals that I have beneath these top 5 goals are to read 25 books in 2025. I want to learn some new recipes. I want to journal or use my planner almost every single day with fidelity because I tend to fall off, especially when it gets to like September, October. I tend to fall off of my planner. Makes no sense. And like March, between like March and June, I can also tend to fall off of my planners and my reading too. I don't want to fall off. I want to stay consistent with those things this year. Do want to wake up somewhere other than New York City for my birthday. I've never done that before. I've always woken up here on my birthday. This is how I can remember. I've always woken up right here in Brooklyn for my birthday. I don't think I've ever traveled for my birthday either. I have traveled for everybody else's birthday, but when it comes to my birthday, I've never done that. One thing I've learned in the last 2 years is that I keep waiting on others, and sometimes people are just not where you are in life, or they're just not ready for those things, or they just can't afford to do those things. Not necessarily like not afford necessarily in terms of like financially, but maybe they're just not in the headspace right now to do those things, or it's just not a part of their interest, and that's okay. But if I wait on other people, I'm never going to do the things I want to do. So that's why I put this on my goal for 2025, and I think that's why I'm saying for this year I want to be a little bit more selfish and just do the things I want to do for myself. So if I want to get up and go get ramen, I'm gonna go and get ramen. I don't need to go with anybody. I want to go to the library and get books. All of my friends don't like to go to the library and get books. The only people I know who likes to do that is like my sister and my niece for the most part. I'm gonna go get books. I want to go sit in the park and read. I'm gonna go sit in the park and read. You know what I'm saying? Life is too short to be sitting here waiting on others to be ready for you when it's something that you want to do. If you want to do it, go do it for you. Don't wait on others to do it with you. So that is just kind of like where I am at right now. I am just going to go and do the things I want to do, and that's like one of my main goals. So if you've made it this far, please leave me a comment saying, you've got this, girl, keep going. Because I know there are going to be points between today and just even like June 1st that I'm going to feel at my lowest or want to give up or feel like, what's the point? But I'm going to come back to this video just to hear those little piece of words of, you've got this, girl, keep going, look at how far you've made it, which is actually one of the things that you will actually prompt yourself to do at the end of this, is that you are going to ask it to guide you and what to do when things are hard or things are tough and you feel like you just can't do it anymore. And it gave me a set of 5 principles to live by. It said, look at how far you've come. Revisit your why. Focus on the next step, not the whole journey. Remember, consistency over perfection. So that means even if things don't go as planned or you face setbacks, consistency is key. Keep pushing forward in small ways and you will get there. And the last one is celebrate every win. And that's important to me. So on that note, y'all, thank you all for watching so much. Actually leads into my last goal. One of my other goals is to publish 1 video a month publicly to YouTube. So if you're watching this, technically I'm 1 out of 12 videos posted publicly to YouTube, and I've made progress in that goal as well. So we're gonna celebrate every small win. So go ahead and also that too, like say congratulations, you accomplished 1/12 of one of your goals. Please do. On that note, y'all, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next month for the next video.